Nora Speaks is a weekly podcast that tugs at the soul and consciousness of the Black community. With show topics such as youth empowerment, education, women's impact, and civic engagement, Nora Speaks challenges the listener to not only join the movement, but be the movement. On the show, you'll learn from insightful guests who have demonstrated capacity in these fields and more, and I'm your host, Nora Muhammad. Welcome to the show. Welcome to episode 176 of the Nora Speaks podcast, and I am your host, Nora Muhammad. It is wonderful to be back with you for another week and another conversation. I want to thank everyone who sent a message, inboxed me, Instagram, Facebook, email, and for your comments regarding the last episode 175. I'm glad that that episode really seemed to resonate with quite a few people, and I hope that this episode resonates with you as well. If you are not a subscriber, I encourage you to subscribe to Nora Speaks wherever you're listening to this podcast, whether it's on iHeart Radio, TuneIn Radio, Apple Podcast, Castbox, Google Play, Amazon, Pandora, wherever you are listening. I encourage you to become a subscriber and leave a comment, a rating, or a review. Let me know what you think about this episode and others. Let me know what you think about this podcast. This is a show meant for the edification and elevation of the consciousness of the Black community. And it is you who I am interested in serving, because I believe it is you who are most in need of help, and you are my people. So again, subscribe to the podcast. Let others know. Let your friends and family know about the Nora Speaks podcast if this show has value to you. This week's episode, the title is Start Local. Let's start local. Let's grow local. And what may I mean by that? We're in an age of social media, and it seems like the more followers a person has, the more influence that person is perceived to have. And you may watch the news and you'll see someone referencing someone on social media, and they'll say, yeah, that person has, a million point five followers. And suggesting that the status of having a large following on social media in the World Wide Web is significant, and it may have some significance. But what I want to let you know is that the greatest significance that you and I could have is the impact that we have in our local communities. To have a large social media following after you have done some real work and made some real change and had some real impacts in the real world, where you're impacting the lives of people, communities, neighborhoods, families, children, seniors, women, education, the political or governmental services where you are. If we are not having real tangible results, real quantifiable results in our local community, then the broader following doesn't translate to having real world significance. And for those who are striving to grow a social media audience, I would encourage you to start local and to grow local. Let the work that you are doing in your community, let that testify for you. Let that attract people to you. And without a local footprint, without a local impact, a message that is resonating through social media can have a much less impact because you don't know the people that you're sharing your message with. You don't know much about them because you're not able to talk to them, to look them in the eye, to feel their energy. It's something when you're speaking to an audience in person and you're looking at your audience and you're measuring how they're receiving your message in person, because you can read their body language. You can observe their attentiveness. You can observe the changes that they're making in their behaviors when you're following them, when you're working with them directly. And you know how that message is resonating. You know that you may need to tweak your message. You know how you may need to modify your approach because you're able to physically interact and have an exchange with those people that you are messaging to. And if we are not able to have success in a practiced and practical application at home locally, then we challenge ourselves greatly to try to have an impact that is much more broad, that's statewide, that's nationwide, and that is worldwide. And so the saying, charity starts at home and spreads abroad, we have to question how we can become statewide leaders if we're not first a community leader. How can we become an international leader or coach if we don't have a local touch or a local footprint? As I mentioned previously, we have to, or we should want to provide receipts and references that substantiate the reach that we want to have for a broader audience with a broader audience. So have we tried our wisdom where we are? Have we tried our wisdom locally? Have we been successful where we are? And what exactly is qualifying us to broaden our audience, except that we have touched those who are closest to us first? So the social media work that we do should just be an expansion of the local work that we are already doing. Having a lot of people follow us on social media does not have its value if we don't know that the message, that the energy, that the language, that our methods are successful at home. And it's easiest for us to get that gauge of ourselves right here in our local communities. So I would encourage you who want to share your message broader, who want to have a following, first question why. What is it? Is it self-serving? Is it ego? Is it well-intended? Is it because you think that you have something that is valuable to people and you want to share it far and wide? I would encourage you to start close and local before we start far and wide. Get the practice and success locally, and then those local folks, your local audience, those people that you've been successful with locally, they will amplify the message and the work that you want to do in a broader sense. So, social media followers, they're good for boosting egos. They're good for helping us feel good about ourselves. But if we are genuine and sincere about really impacting people, I encourage you to begin production right at home and let your work spread abroad and let your impact spread abroad. But to start broadly, that may not be the right approach, the best approach, if we actually have sincerity in our hearts. And many of us may have sincerity in our hearts, but we may not know the correct methodology. But for any system of things grow and they start small and grow out, right? So if we're looking at local leadership, right, someone may have been in the PTA, president of the PTA, then they may have been on the school board, they may have been a coach, They may have been head of the local coaches association, and now they're running for city council. They've served on city council. Now they want to be an assemblyman, or they want to be a county commissioner, or maybe they want to broaden and their service in the state on a broader level, or then maybe they want to serve nationally. But there's steps that must be taken for us to substantiate ourselves. Because if we want to step out and walk the waters in a broad way with a broad audience, if we don't have the foundation at home, then that can be a shallow service, a quick service. It can be superficial, or you and I can be superficial if we don't start locally. So fortify yourself by fortifying the people who are closest to you and grow abroad. There is a process for qualifying ourselves, and there are no shortcuts to sustainable success. This is a short episode. I will wrap it here. I hope that what I have shared with you resonates and makes sense. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at nora@noraspeaks.com. That's nora@noraspeaks.com. I look forward to being back with you next week. But until then, stay in peace. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Nora Speaks podcast. Be on the lookout for a new episode coming at you fresh next week. And as always, if you want to learn more about me and the work that I do, visit my website, norahmuhammad.com. Or if you have a listener question, email me at info@noraspeaks.com. You can also follow the Nora Speaks podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Nora Speaks Podcast. I'll be sure to include links in the show notes. If this show has value to you, please subscribe, rate, and review, and share it with family and friends. And be sure to check out previous episodes. And remember, don't just join the movement, be the movement. Stay in peace.